Hey guys, it's Kayla.
And I'm Mark Allen.
And this is our channel. Here we talk about all things Disney as well as how to plan your Walt Disney World vacation.
So if that interests you, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned.
Alrighty guys, so as you probably know, we are headed to Disney World for New Year's.
Yep.
Are we crazy? Maybe. Am I excited? Yes. Am I nervous? Absolutely. And that is what this video today is about. We are going to talk about some of the things that we are the most kind of anxious or nervous about this trip, just because it is going to be very different than any trip, honestly, that we've ever taken.
Yeah.
Disney or not.
Well, not just like things that we're nervous about and anxious about, but even like what we're kind of doing to overcome some of that like stress and anxiety a little bit.
All right, well, let's get started. The first thing, and this is probably the thing that most people think about, is the crowds. The crowds are going to be insane.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I know that Disney doesn't really have like a slow season anymore, but I know the last trip that we went on, it was pretty dang busy in a lot of places. Yeah. And so I'm just kind of like, if that was busy but it wasn't even supposed to be like that busy, I can't even imagine what New Year's is going to be like. It's going to be psycho.
The thing with the crowds is that, yeah, like I definitely am really nervous about that, because there's been times like after fireworks or a show or something like that where I'm just like, all right, like I'm done. Like I want to go. I want to go to bed and go take my shoes off. And yeah, like there just gets to be that point where I'm just like, okay, I'm just ready to be away from people, and kind of like what Kayla was saying. I know for me, like if we get to that point and we're just like, we're just not going to be able to really do much about it. And so I think the big thing for us, especially with this trip, one way that we're kind of overcoming a lot of those crowds is that we do have a lot of dining reservations. Yes. At least one every single day, if not two. Mm-hmm.
The original reason why we booked so many was because with the crowds, there are times that the parks can reach capacity. And if you don't have a dining reservation in the park, you can't get in. And it's one of those things, if I'm paying a lot of money to get out there and then not be able to experience the parks, yeah. It kind of stinks. And so we definitely made sure to plan at least a dining reservation each day in each park that we would be in, so that we knew we would be able to get in. But also with that too, it's nice that we're going to be able to know that we can sit for an hour or so and kind of just get, I mean, it'll be crowded in the restaurants, but it won't just be like you're just having wall-to-wall people everywhere that you go. So it'll be nice to be able to just kind of sit and like kind of just recollect a little bit before we go back out.
It would be a nice break from people for a little bit.
Yeah, because I mean, I do get my energy from big crowds. Like I love hustle and bustle. Like when I went to New York, like that was amazing. Like I love that kind of energy, but I know especially like for him, he is not that kind of person. Nope. And so, and knowing that we are gonna probably have to be in the park from like as soon as the park opens to 2 a.m. the next day, like knowing that, because we're really not going to be leaving, it's good to kind of have those little breaks.
I hope the Starbucks is open in Epcot before then, because I'm going to need a lot of coffee on this trip.
If not, there will probably be Joffrey's.
Yeah, but Starbucks.
But kind of another thing with that too, with the crowds, there are some good kind of little hidden gems. Granted, they probably won't be as deserted as they normally are the other times of the year, but knowing kind of those little secret places that you can kind of go to get away are going to be very helpful. I did a whole video on what those places are, so I'll link that above so you guys can go watch that. But that's definitely something that we will be utilizing on this trip.
Yeah.
The other thing I would say kind of going along with this is not being able to do all the things that we want.
Yeah, I think we just have to have that mentality. Now, we were pretty fortunate. We did get some really good fast passes, which I found a really cool hack for getting last minute good fast passes.
Which we talk about in our trip announcement video.
Yeah.
So you guys can watch that.
So I definitely think because we do have some really good fast passes, that will kind of just help ease the pain of like, Peter Pan is a 2-hour wait. Like, yeah,
I will never stand in Peter Pan's line if it's 2 hours.
I won't either. But because we will have like the fast passes that
we at least know that we'll be able to ride a few of our favorite things. We at least know we'll be able to ride a few things. I think we're really going into this trip just kind of saying, you know what, we're just going to soak everything in. We're not necessarily going to ride rides and experience like attractions. We're really just going to just kind of take in the environment and look at decorations and do that sort of thing. And ride the rides that we have fast passes for.
Yeah, well, and the nice thing about a lot of the fast passes that we do have is that they're early in the day. And so after we use those 3, we can always try to get more. And
we can try. We'll see if we actually get any.
Yeah, who knows? But even if it's for like Muppet Vision or something like that, like use that fast pass right away and then just keep booking more and more. And so I think because of that, like it'll also help us be able to do more things in the park and not necessarily just sit around and like wait for fireworks for however many hours.
The next thing that I would say I'm a little nervous about is missing some of the holiday decor. So a really big reason why we were wanting to do this trip is because we wanted to see things like the gingerbread house. We wanted to see the Christmas tree trail at Disney Springs. We wanted to see the decorations at Animal Kingdom because they kind of have some new stuff this year. We've never been to Disney over Christmas time. And so that's really a big important thing for us, is to be able to see all of those decorations. It's kind of hard to know exactly how long those decorations stay up in each place, and so I'm a little nervous that we might miss something. Because I know like the gingerbread house gets taken down on January 1st, and I think originally we weren't planning on going to the Grand Floridian until January 1st, and I was like, after I learned that, I was like, oh no, we have to go earlier. So I think that's probably one thing we're just trying to juggle.
Yeah, and I will say a lot of the decorations we are doing the first and second day that we get there. So hopefully we'll get to see at least some of it. Now, I think we won't be doing Festival of the Holidays, unfortunately. So, because we are doing a day at Epcot for New Year's Eve. And so by that point, obviously Festival of the Holidays will be done and over with and probably honestly hauled out. And so more than likely the decorations will be gone, the food booths will be all torn down and put away for the time being. Well, they might even keep them up for Festival of the Arts. Who knows?
I don't know.
But
I think the biggest thing with that is it was kind of, we had to sit down and we had to kind of like make a list of all of the things that were the most important for us to see.
Yeah.
And make sure that those are the things that we prioritize. And if we have time that we're able to hop over to wherever and see whatever, cool. But it's one of those like Festival of the Holidays was kind of one of those things that was at the bottom of our list that I was like, yeah, it would be cool to experience, but it's not our top priority. So
we definitely want to experience it one day for sure. So
again, I think that's kind of a good tip on not just for New Year's, but any Disney trip, is make a list of the things that are most important for you to experience on your trip so that you can make sure that you prioritize those. And then if you need to make a list of kind of like your secondary things that are important, but maybe you don't know that you'll have time for, you'll have that ready to go so that if you do find some extra time, you'll be able to squeeze some of that stuff in. Or you'll have that list ready to go for the next time if you do get to go again. So that's definitely a good tip.
So the fourth thing that we are most nervous about on this New Year's Eve trip is, quite honestly, the weather. Just because like Kayla said earlier, we've never been to Disney around the holiday season. And so the weather just can kind of be all over the place. You know, it can go from being 80 for a high to, you know, the 50s at night. And so you definitely have to kind of plan accordingly. And I think for us, we are definitely doing a lot of layers and things that we can, you know, take off and tie around our waist or throw in a bag or something like that. And then when it gets cool out again in the evening, we can just pull that back out, throw that jacket or spirit jersey back on and be good.
Yeah, definitely check out our packing video. We kind of show you a little bit more of what we're bringing, but I originally thought I wasn't going to be bringing as many clothes on this trip, but I am actually maybe bringing just a little bit more, only because I'm not necessarily bringing like 2 outfits for every single day, but I am bringing, like, I have my pants that I'll wear, but then I'll have like a t-shirt or a spirit jersey that I'll wear depending on what the weather is, or I might layer those 2 things. Just again, it just really kind of depends. And so I think definitely bringing the layers is going to be helpful so that we feel prepared to know, because I've also heard that Florida cold is not the same cold as Midwest cold. And so,
well, because it's still super humid there. Well, not like summer humid, but I mean, it's still humid, it's just for winter.
It's a wet cold. And so, I don't know.
And honestly, I don't know if I've ever experienced like a humid cold.
Well, it would be like what it was this morning when it was foggy outside.
No, I guess it's true.
I was gonna say, I looked at the weather app today and the humidity here was actually higher than it was in Orlando. The last thing I'm slightly nervous about, just a little bit, like not really, but like kind of, is we're actually flying to Chicago on the way home. Normally we fly through Texas. We go, I think, through Houston to go to Disney.
We've done Dallas and Houston.
Yeah, Dallas and Houston, but this time on the way home we're flying to Chicago, which normally I wouldn't care about, but because it is winter, if there's snow or delays or whatever, I have to work the next day.
Yeah, I do too.
And our flight's not until pretty late. So hopefully everything runs smoothly. I've warned my employer that we're flying through Chicago, which is kind of notorious for having weird stuff happen. I don't know. It'll probably be fine, but you never know.
If all else fails, we'll just rent a car and drive. Not really.
No.
Because that's like a 12-hour drive.
Absolutely not. Anyways, so kind of the moral of the story of all these things is know things that can happen so that you can prepare for them beforehand. We have these things that we are nervous about, but we're not gonna let those stop us. We've put actions into place to make sure that we are still going to have an enjoyable time when we go, and that it's going to be a memorable trip no matter what. We're going in with the mentality of, we know it is going to be crazy, it's going to be busy, it's going to be a totally different trip than we've ever done before, and we're just going to live for it and take it all in. So if you guys have any tips on traveling during New Year's, even just in general traveling over New Year's or going to Disney, make sure you leave those down in the comments below. Those I know will definitely help some of our other viewers that might be going over New Year's in the future. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give us a big thumbs up. And of course, as always, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss our trip vlogs. That'll be coming out really soon. Because those will be really, really fun.
I'm excited for those.
I'm very excited. It's gonna be really cool. So that is all we have for you guys today, and we will see you next time. Bye.